हेलो साथीहरु नमस्ते वेलकम अल अफ यु टु माई च्यानल आजको डिस्कसनमा हामी चाहिँ नेपाल एकाउन्टिङ स्ट्यान्डर्ड अन प्रोपर्टी प्लान्ट एन्ड इक्विपमेन्टको बारेमा छलफल गर्नेछौँ दैट इज द NAS 06 र when you are studying financial accounting या analysis of accounting information including when you are preparing for the CA examination then I believe that आजको डिस्कसन भनेको उहाँहरुको लागि चाहिँ युजफुल हुनेछ साथीहरु चाहिँ र basically this accounting standard talks about the prescribe you can say that accounting treatment for property plant and equipment how we could find the carrying amount book value including depreciation charges methods too finally it also talks about the impairment losses जस्तो loss on sale of plant भयो भने हामीले चाहिँ loss या gain you can say that how could we find that okay then let's move to the अब this standard however साथीहरु चाहिँ अब यसले यसको कस्तो लिमिटेसन के छ भने अब सबै कुरो यसले चाहिँ क्याप्चर गर्न सक्दैन दैट इज व्हाई दिस स्ट्यान्डर्ड डज नट अप्लाई टु लाइक अ property plant and equipment classified as held for sale that means in case of like when you are dealing with the selling of the equipment right या medical equipment भनौं या कुनै equipment भनौं then that would not be applied here in this case र अर्को भनेको that's about your biological asset that's related to agricultural activity र C भनेको is the recognition of the measurement of explorations and evaluation assets र including D number भनेको that's mineral rights भनौं या mineral reserves such as oil natural gas या similar non regenerative resources मा चाहिँ युज गरिँदैन यसमा okay that's a limitation part however this standard could be used for specifically property plant and equipment र अर्को भनेको sometime what may be the case in factory you might lease the property plant and equipment then in that case the NAS 15 which talk about the your lease of property plant and equipment on the basis of transfer of the risks and rewards भन्छौं however in case of other aspect of accounting treatment भन्छौं for those assets including depreciations which are clearly mentioned by this standard भन्छौं okay now what about the key terms friends of key terms भनिसकेपछि हामी भन्छ that's one is the cost here cost भनिसकेपछि that's all about your acquisition cost this is not only the cost price that you pay while importing the equipment friends that's the purchase price that you pay it next one is that transportation charges yeah you can say that installation charges yeah professional fee that you'd pay to the let's say the industrial engineer like that next one is that residual of the we say that value of the asset yeah जसलाई हामीले scrap value पनि भन्छौं because at the end of its useful life हामी के गर्छौं भने if we sell it then some amount could be realized that is called scrap value र depreciable amount is nothing simply that is when you deduct V minus S here that V minus S भनेकै that is the depreciable amount भन्छौं र useful life of the asset is all about it depends on the asset expected utility to the entity that means asset now beyond the life if the company is using the asset then one hand it will decrease the quality of the product and next one is that at the same time it will decrease the quality of work life of the workers या employee those who are working physically worker को लागि चाहिँ best चाहिँ हुँदैन फेरि okay so there is a need of यसमा हामी भनौं न there is a our government should take care of whether that plant outdated हो कि के हो whether you are we are talking about pharmaceutical company होस् या जुनसुकै company को केसमा होस् साथीहरु चाहिँ we are not entitled to use the assets beyond its life right र अर्को carrying useful life भनिसकेपछि that's all about your I already explained that's based on your asset expected utility to the entity र अर्को carrying amount which is also known as the book value or it is simply you could find it that is asset is recognized after deducting any accumulated depreciation first or accumulated impairment losses here impairment loss भनेको तपाईले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने just simply you can say that your carrying amount in it will happen when carrying amount your carrying value of the assets exceed the recoverable amount भनेको that is तपाईको book value of the asset is lower than that of the market value you can say that which is the recoverable amount then in that case you would have an impairment loss भन्छ okay just for example let's say suppose a company acquires a piece of machinery which machinery for 10 lakh and with an estimated life भनेको 20 years छ but after 5 years the machine को value भनेको कति आयो भनेको 7 lakh आयो साथीहरु that is 7 lakh is nothing this is called the book value here carrying value what I did here I have calculated annual depreciation charge. Annual depreciation charge into 5. Then you will find the accumulated depreciations. Then that value would be deducted from this machine value. Okay. But here the carrying value, we say that this carrying value, as I explained, this is the 7,50,000. But you valued, that means you came to know that someone offer you the value of the 7 lakh. That's the market value simply. Okay. So you would have a loss of 50,000 here. That means when our carrying value, in this case carrying value is higher than that of the machine value, or you can say that fair value, or sometimes we can say that the market value, then in that case we would have a loss, friends. Okay. अब जाऊँ हामी चाहिँ, now what type of cost would not be the part of the acquisition of the property plant and equipment, just to give for example, अब cost of opening a new facilities which would not be considered here. Yeah, cost of introducing the new product or services, yeah, including the cost of advertising, yeah, promotional activities, yeah, marketing resource गर्नु भएछ, that will not be the part of cost. And next one is that cost of conducting the business in a new locations. For example, you try to shift to your business from, let's see, the Biratnagar to Birganj, then whatever the expenses that you would be bearing, including your staff training, then that will not be the part of your cost of equipment. Okay, that's a property plant and equipment भन्न खोजेको. Including administration and other general expenses भनेको overhead छ भने त्यसलाई consider गरिँदैन, right? अब that is all about your cost of an item property plant and equipment भनिसकेपछि हामी acquisition cost लाई फोकस गर्नु पर्यो साथीहरु चाहिँ. ओके, र अरु डिटेल भनेको चाहिँ यसको in this regard the cost of item property plant and equipment held for by the lessee को छ भने under the financial lease भने that will be discussed by the NAS 15. That's about the lease part. Okay. Now अब जाउँ हामी चाहिँ, let's discuss about the अब property plant and equipment acquired for safety and environmental reasons साथीहरु चाहिँ. अब गभर्नमेन्टले पनि के गर्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ, अब if the company, just for example my is all chemical manufacturer may install the new chemical handling processes to comply with the environmental requirements. अब environmental requirement including the storage of dangerous chemical भनेको छ भने अब company need to follow, yeah, comply with the regulatory part too. At the same time, अब भनौँ न for example your machine require the more maintenance cost, then in that case हामी के गर्छ भने we try to replace it. Then in that case too we have to find the book value of the machine and then you would be replacing it. That means you would be sell it and try to buy the next one. That is the part of replacement decision, and this will be basically captured in the capital budgeting decision भन्छौँ हामी in financial management area. र अर्को भनेको जस्तो कि अब for example condition of the continuing to operate, जस्तो कि property plant and equipment, for example aircraft को केस लियौँ, जस्तो aircraft may be performing regular major inspection for fault भन्छौँ regardless of whether the parts of item are replaced. तपाईँले replacement भइसकेपछि भए पनि still time and again हामी के गर्छ भने those who are expert in this area like aeronautical engineer भनौँ, they would be inspecting the fault in the aircraft case, right? अब जाउँ हामी चाहिँ what we understand by the fair value of the land and building case. Fair value भनिसकेपछि तपाईँले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने it's based on the market evidence by the appraisal. Just for example, let's say the valuator will take the approach of one is the market based approach, but at the same time when we don't have new market based evidence छैन भने in that case के हुन्छ भने साथीहरु चाहिँ the company could use the next one that is called depreciated replacement cost approach साथीहरु चाहिँ. ओके, र next one is that frequency of revaluation भनेको बित्तिकै हामी के भन्छ भने जस्तो depends on the changes in the fair value. तपाईको fair value frequently change भइराछ भने in that case we have to revalue that asset time and again. Okay, for that reason further revaluation required, I mean to say that. Okay, now अब revaluation of the assets भनिसकेपछि is very important friends, because revaluation गर्दाखेरि पनि हामी के गर्छ भने we have to take care of that's a concept of depreciations, right? When your value land, let's say your land value, land and building appreciated छ भने in that case we know that it would positively affect your return earning, right? This is all about your revaluation part friends. आजको डिस्कसनमा मैले के गरे भने साथीहरु चाहिँ I briefly discussed about the Nepal accounting standards on property plant and equipment. I try to just capitalize the concept which have been mentioned in this NAS 06, and I believe that आजको डिस्कसन तपाईहरु सबैलाई राम्रै लाग्यो होला। यदि राम्रो लागेको छ भने प्लिज like, subscribe, and also share my channel, that is the Finance Guru Pawan Kumar Jha. Thank you all of you for watching this video. Please take care all of you. Thank you.